Hey, my name's John Hensley, and I'm reviewing an article for my communications class. It's entitled Effective Client Communication. The author is Anderson Wells, and it was in General Practice Solo magazine. Basically what this article is dealing with is the new types of communication methods we use. In past times, most communications was person to person. You said what you needed to say to a certain person in person, face to face. Now, communication methods such as voicemail, text messaging, email, video conferencing has changed the way we communicate. A lot of those methods are very helpful in the business setting because they speed up the process and you can get information faster. But the main problem with these types of communication is that they lack the humanity and the human touch that a personal and face-to-face meeting will give you. So, a lot of good stuff in this article. Deals with choosing the best option, the best way to communicate with your customers and clients. This particular article is aimed for a law firm, but it's pretty much applicable to any type of business. It goes into the different types of communications, which are face-to-face meeting, video conference, virtual meeting, phone call, voicemail, and email. And for each of these different subdivisions of communication, it gives you some helpful tips. For voicemail, it gives you some do's like outline what you need to say before you call, which is something we all need to remember because everybody's been guilty of leaving those long, wordy voicemails that make no sense. Limit your message to 100 words because people are busy. Provide a compelling reason for returning your call. Put emotion in your voice to connect personally, and ask for a return call. Those are some do's, just some common knowledge that most people that have adapted to new technology kind of know, but a lot of older business professionals still haven't grasped the ideals behind using these new forms of technology. And it goes through the dots here too, like don't use your speakerphone to leave a message, switch to your handset or headset, and that's kind of good advice because you don't want all the background noise and you want people to really think that you're talking to them. You're not just a multitasking thing that you're doing just periodically. They want to know that you're talking to them and only them, and there needs to be some personal touch to leaving a voicemail. And it goes in here to telephone calls, virtual meetings, and this gives you some really good helpful hints. And one interesting thing that was in here was social media, because with things like Facebook, Twitter, MySpace, it's really important to learn how to use those because when you post something up in an email or on a social page, that kind of thing is forever. And people can go and look at it and take different types of meanings into what you've written, as where in a personal communication, when you're actually talking to someone, you say that, it goes on, and they take it and they can use the tone of your voice and kind of understand how you mean things. But in virtual communication, being email, Facebook, that sort of thing, it's kind of cold and they can't hear the tone of your voice or your mannerisms, so sometimes what you're really meaning to say gets lost in translation. So social media is a big deal in here. Looking through some other things, and instant messaging. This article kind of looks at instant messaging in a pretty good light, but it also looks at the downside that IMing and instant messaging can prevent and distract you at work. And instant messaging, once again, is another virtual means of communication that can be cold sometimes and you can't look at a person when you're doing the IMing, so you really have to be careful in what you say and be direct and mean what you say when you instant message someone. So, overall, this is a really good article. It would be very helpful to anyone that's adjusting to new technologies in the workplace, such as video conferencing, voicemail, text messaging, IMing, and it's really laid out pretty well. Everything's given you, it's all highlighted, and it gives you little comments and little ideas about how to approach these new types of media. And I would really suggest it to anyone in the workplace or anyone starting out in the workplace. It kind of gives you some ideas on how to approach communicating with people when you're not doing it personally. There's really nothing that negative about it. The only thing I would suggest is that there probably needs to be a little more in-depth information about the social networking, because MySpace, Facebook, Twitter, those sort of things are really becoming a huge part of the way we communicate, and this doesn't go into it in a great detail. But overall, good article.